Bruno Fernandes gives huge praise to Manchester United youngster and said, "He is class." Toby Collyer made his first start in Europe for Manchester United against Rangers and delivered a strong display at Old Trafford. Bruno Fernandes has hailed Manchester United youngster Toby Collyer and predicted he will only get better. Collyer was given his first team debut in the Community Shield in August by former United manager Erik ten Hag and has proven himself to Ruben Amorim over the last few weeks. The 21-year-old impressed during his cameo against Arsenal in the FA Cup third-round victory and was given his first start in European competition against Rangers on Thursday night. After settling into the game, Collyer demonstrated his maturity and athleticism against Rangers and was given a standing ovation when he was substituted in the 73rd minute. Collyer has been highly regarded at Carrington since he signed for United from Brighton as a teenager. He has been considered a first-team player throughout this season, and Fernandes praised the youngster when he was interviewed by MUTV after facing Rangers. "Toby doesn't need help, if I'm being honest. He is a great kid, a great example of a professional. He comes from the academy and knows his place, knows how much he wants to get into the positions of other players. He trains very well every week, trains at the maximum level every time," said Fernandes. "He's a really good kid who wants to learn. He's eager to listen and has big qualities. He's aggressive off and on the ball, he's class in tight spaces, and he's just going to get better." Fernandes added about the game. "Everyone knows the feeling of scoring a late goal at the Trafford end. It's always really special, and today was more special because we won the game. That's the most important thing. I was very happy and relieved. There was a lot of frustration in the team when we conceded the goal because we had full control of the game. We should have attacked a little bit more, been a little bit more intense going forward because we could have killed the game earlier, and we had our chances. A few deflections. We were attacking, but sometimes we need to attack a little bit more and create more danger." Bruno Fernandes's praise for Toby Collyer comes at an exciting time for the young midfielder, who is making rapid strides in Manchester United's first-team setup. Collyer, who joined United from Brighton's academy, has already shown a great deal of promise since his debut for the club. His performance against Rangers, where he was praised for his maturity and technical ability, was another example of his growing confidence on the European stage. The 21-year-old has quickly earned the respect of both his teammates and coaching staff, with Fernandes's comments highlighting Collyer's work ethic and professionalism. The Portuguese international made it clear that Collyer doesn't just possess natural talent, but also the mentality and determination to thrive at the highest level. "He's a player who's always pushing himself," Fernandes said. "You can see he's not satisfied with just being part of the squad. He wants to prove himself, and that hunger will take him far." Collyer's development has been steady but noticeable. His impressive display in the FA Cup against Arsenal, followed by his European debut against Rangers, shows he's ready to seize any opportunity he's given. United manager Ruben Amorim has placed significant trust in the young midfielder, and it appears that Collyer is repaying that faith with each outing. As Collyer continues to learn and develop under the guidance of experienced players like Fernandes, there's a growing sense of excitement around the club regarding his potential. His ability to play in tight spaces and his aggression on both sides of the ball suggest that he could become a key figure in the middle of the park for years to come. For now, Collyer will continue to push himself to improve, taking every chance to show that he belongs at Manchester United. The Old Trafford crowd, who gave him a standing ovation after his performance against Rangers, will surely be watching eagerly to see how he progresses. With the backing of his teammates and the coaching staff, Toby Collyer's future at United looks bright, and Bruno Fernandes believes the best is yet to come. Marcus Rashford's potential move to Barcelona is creating a lot of buzz, as reports suggest that the two sides have agreed on a loan deal. However, there's still a major hurdle to overcome before the deal can be officially completed. The deal would see Rashford leave Manchester United temporarily and join Barcelona until late June. but Barcelona needs to reduce their wage bill to comply with financial fair play (FFP) regulations before they can finalize the transfer. Under the terms of the proposed deal, Barcelona would pay half of Rashford's salary, which is reported to be around £8 million annually, approximately €9 million. That means Barcelona would pay half, with Manchester United covering the other half of his wages for the duration of the loan. This structure could be a win-win for both clubs, as it allows Barcelona to bring in a talented player like Rashford without breaching FFP rules, while United would get his wages off their books for the rest of the season. However, Barcelona's financial situation is complicated. The Spanish giants are still trying to balance their books and free up space within their salary cap to register new players. This has been an ongoing issue for the club, and they have had to make several financial adjustments in the past couple of seasons to stay within FFP limits. The move for Rashford, while exciting, is still contingent on Barcelona being able to make the necessary adjustments to their wage structure. Without that, the loan could fall through, leaving Rashford in limbo. Meanwhile, Marcus Rashford's future at Manchester United has been uncertain for some time now. Under the management of Ruben Amorim, Rashford has seen his role at the club diminish. Amorim, who took over as manager in November, has shown little interest in starting Rashford regularly in his preferred role, and the player has been used sparingly in recent weeks. This lack of involvement has led to speculation about Rashford's future at United, and it seems that the club is exploring options to offload him, especially considering his high wages. Rashford, who has been a key player for United in previous seasons, has struggled to make the same impact this campaign. His relationship with Amorim has not been the same as it was under former managers, and this has contributed to the growing possibility of him leaving. The loan deal to Barcelona offers a potential new beginning for the England international, where he could get more playing time and the chance to rejuvenate his career at one of Europe's biggest clubs. On the other hand, Barcelona is facing its own set of challenges. The club has been active in the transfer market, but their financial struggles make it difficult to sign high-profile players without first balancing their books. For them to finalize the deal for Rashford, they will need to make room in their salary cap, which could involve offloading some of their current players or finding ways to reduce their existing wage commitments. Barcelona's manager Xavi is eager to bring in a player of Rashford's quality to strengthen his squad, but the financial constraints are a big obstacle. It's also important to note that while Barcelona has shown interest in Rashford, this loan deal is still not guaranteed. The deal's progress hinges entirely on Barcelona's ability to meet FFP regulations. If they fail to create the necessary space in their salary cap, Rashford will likely stay at Manchester United, where his future is already uncertain due to his limited role under Amorim. The timing of this potential transfer adds even more intrigue to the situation. The January transfer window is closing soon, and both clubs will need to act quickly if they want to finalize the deal. The pressure is on Barcelona to make the financial adjustments needed to bring Rashford in, and on Manchester United to either secure a loan deal for him or find another solution. Ruben Amorim, the United manager, has already hinted that Rashford may not be in his long-term plans, which has pushed the club to explore other options. This could be a good opportunity for Rashford to move on and find a new environment where he can regain his confidence and form. Barcelona's interest is a strong signal that there is still plenty of belief in Rashford's ability to perform at a high level, and a loan spell in La Liga could be the perfect stage for him to prove himself once again. For United, the situation is more complicated. On one hand, offloading Rashford's hefty wages could provide some financial breathing room, especially with the club looking to make additions to their squad in the transfer window. On the other hand, parting with a player who has been so integral to the club in the past would be a difficult decision, especially given the uncertainty surrounding Amorim's tenure and his tactics. Ruben Amorim told Jim Ratcliffe will be devastated by brutal 13-word Man United comment. Gary Neville was taken aback by Ruben Amorim's claim that he may be in charge of the worst Manchester United team ever and says it won't have gone down well with Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Sir Jim Ratcliffe will be devastated by Ruben Amorim's claim that he may be in charge of the worst Manchester United side in history. That's according to Gary Neville, who was left stunned by the head coach's comments in the wake of United's 3-1 home defeat by Brighton. After excellent performances at Liverpool and Arsenal, it was back to square one for the Red Devils, who slumped to their 6th home defeat of the season. United have not lost that many of their first 12 home league games since the 1893-94 season, when they were still known as Newton Heath, and 17 years before moving to Old Trafford. Still, Amorim's admission was a startling one and won't have gone down well with part owner Ratcliffe. Amorim said, "We are the worst team maybe in the history of Manchester United." Seemingly knowing the comment would create more unwanted headlines for the club, he added, "I know you want headlines, but I am saying that because we have to acknowledge that and to change that. Everybody here is underperforming, no matter what the circumstances. We are underperforming and have to accept that." While Neville has grown accustomed to dissecting his former club's failings over the past decade, the Sky Sports pundit was still taken aback by Amorim's brutal statement. "If you take it out of football, it's incredible, this statement," he said on the Overlap US. "If you had a manager in Tesco, NBC, or Sky that came out and said, 'I think we're the worst set of employees, the worst team that we've ever had,' they would be sacked immediately in any other industry. However, in football, for the owners, the communications department, it will be devastating for them to hear that from a manager they've just employed. It's a really difficult predicament for the sporting director, the owners, the CEO. It's usually something you never hear from a football manager while they're there. The headline is, 'We're the worst team in Manchester United's history.' Imagine being a player and listening to that." Amorim, who damaged a TV set in the dressing room after the Brighton game, has admitted his comments were too strong, saying frustration got the better of him. Speaking to the media ahead of the Europa League clash with Rangers, the former Sporting CP boss said, "I was talking more for myself than for my players, so I understand I gave you that headline, and I'm frustrated sometimes, and sometimes I should not say that in those terms. But it is what it is, and that's it. Sometimes it's really hard to hide the frustration in some moments. But the good thing is that I said the same things in a different way in the dressing room 5 minutes before. The response was quite normal because I'm really blunt with my players." Ruben Amorim's controversial comments about Manchester United being the worst team maybe in the history of Manchester United have sparked plenty of debate. The brutal statement made after a disappointing 3-1 loss to Brighton has drawn attention not only from fans, but also from former players and pundits like Gary Neville. The comments have put United's situation under even more scrutiny, especially as the club is already struggling with consistency and facing criticism for underperforming. Amorim's admission that everybody here is underperforming highlights just how frustrated he is with the squad, and his words have not gone unnoticed by club ownership. Gary Neville, always vocal about his former club, pointed out how rare it is for a manager to make such a harsh claim publicly. In most industries, such statements would be career-ending, and Neville believes Sir Jim Ratcliffe, part owner of Manchester United, will likely be devastated by Amorim's comments. Ratcliffe has invested heavily in the club and is hoping for improvements under Amorim's guidance. However, Amorim's words add to the growing pressure surrounding the manager, especially given United's inconsistent form this season. Despite the backlash, Amorim later clarified that his comments were fueled by frustration and were more about his own feelings than a direct criticism of the players. He admitted that he should have expressed himself more carefully, but his honesty about the team's underperformance is an indication of the challenges United faces in turning things around. How the squad responds to these comments and whether Amorim can maintain control will be key to his future at Old Trafford.